Okay, here we go. 10 seconds into the live stream. It is 9 o'clock straight up. Okay, here we go. March 2nd, 10 seconds into the live stream. It is 9 o'clock straight up. Okay, echoing going on because 10 seconds into the live stream. It is 9 o'clock straight up. Muted. 10 seconds into the live stream. It is 9 o'clock straight up. Muted. Now it's not muted. Now it's muted. I've got both of them muted, but I didn't get a confirmation. Why? I see XSplit is saying that my audio is live. Try this monitoring again. See XSplit is saying that my audio still not hearing anything. Why? Are you guys hearing me in chat? Looking at the chat window. Let's see, nothing there about the audio. Oh, it didn't. The Big Beast Bill did not switch over to my headset. And Doug speaking at the same time from Al Neo. So what's happening now? Did that fix anything? Come on, ay caramba. So yes, now I have me in my headset. So that should have stopped the echoing. Today's video title, at the moment, the video title is, "Hey Doug, I'm having problems with my AirPods charging, Windows Daily 167. That is the exact text, copy and pasted from an email that came to me from Jaden Stowe, who was a friend of Bobby Warren's. So we're going to respond to that. At the top of your screen, you see that I have 0 dropped frames. And you see the sending megabits per second of my stream. And I've got that still on the top of the screen because I've had still some troubles with internet. Although I've only had the problem once since they replaced the coax cable outside. So we're going to get into Jaden's issue in just a minute. Nick Poverman here. I asked the librarian for help finding a book. It was about Pavlov's dogs and Schrodinger's cat going on adventures. She told me it rings a bell, but I don't know if we have it or not. And if you don't know about Pavlov's dog or Schroeder's cat, there's something to do with ringing a bell. I'm not going to go into those details. Al Neo says that's a really good one. Hello to all of you all in chat. Skin Stout Live. Ken Stout Live. Al Neo, Nick Poverman. Z / which is Mark from Liverpool. And let's see, there's Ken again, people saying hellos to each other. Ken Stout to Jeff Ryman, is that your Indian name? He's referring to his name of Chief late once again, I think. Dissecting a battery-powered duster like Carrie has, mine died after a year of light use and the seller was useless. You know, you're buying cheap stuff off of Amazon from out of country. How many times did you go through recharging cycles? Is it that it won't recharge, or does the motor not work? How did it die? I think he tells us here later that he dissected it. Greg to Nick, is yours AI Eng brand? Although that does not matter since they're sold under different brands. It's the same one that Carrie has. What do you mean it's the same one that Carrie has? Was it sold to the same brand name, or did you buy it off of Carrie's link? Or is it just that it looks like it? But still, does that matter? Is our answer going to be any different based upon how you respond to that question? Took it apart. Battery voltage is 11.3, but falls down to 8.5, 8.8. So the batteries aren't holding a sufficient charge. They might show an adequate charge after recharging, but then after the least bit of use, it goes down. That's just like a car battery that might measure 12 volts, but then when you start cranking on it, it just doesn't have the cranking amps. It is not storing the energy. So it may be that they had a cheap battery in the one that you bought. That might be the specific brand that you bought. It might look like the same as Carrie's on the outside, not be the same quality inside. Now, also, if you will run that battery all the way down, drain it till it's got absolutely no life yet. Just keep turning on. When it wears out, when it stops running, turn it off, and then wait a couple hours and then turn it on again. Try to get it all the way down to where it has nothing left, and then recharge it all the way up, and then run it all the way down again, recharge it all the way up, run it all the way down again, and see if it behaves better after doing that like 3 times round. I've had good success with that on a variety of different kinds of batteries. Chris Garrett says, remember canceled Wednesdays. So yesterday was Thursday and today is Friday. I guess I did mistake that at the beginning of the show. I think I said today is Thursday, but actually today is Friday based upon that since I canceled Wednesday. Wednesday did not occur. So that means that day that we think of as yesterday was actually Thursday and today is Friday, right? That's what Chris is telling us. And I would not even waste my time buying a new one. And I agree with that. So here's the a link that was given to us by who? By Greg M. asking if this is the one that he got. And go read the reviews from people. Did they have problems with it? When you're buying these things, you gotta be reading the reviews. This one says battery lasts forever. Bought it as a replacement for canisters. It's not the best, but it's not the worst. Does the job fine, fantastic, easy to use. Now the battery's dead and I cannot change it. Disassembled the case and the battery's kind of artisanal. Artisanal? Yeah. So that was one person at least had that issue. So yeah, batteries, when you're buying things for, Dick bought it for $49. Was it actually the same one then? When you say it's the same one, are you saying that because it looks the same? That doesn't necessarily mean the internal components are the same. They may be manufactured by the same place, but maybe one brand is instructing the manufacturer to use a lower quality battery. How would you ever know that? Yeah, I don't know. You might be able to dig all the way down to the battery and find some ratings on the battery. Yeah, that's the price of those things here in Canada. Same thing here. It powers up and powers down, powers down. Bad battery. Seller tried to blame it on not charging when I got it. BS, then on lack of us. Then on lack of us. Not sure what that is. Tested, boy, Greg really went after this. Tested various points on the circuit board. Power fluctuates as MOSFETs could be a weak battery in the 3 in it. Standard Li-ion battery, is somebody's asking that. So I'm not going to follow all of that through. Let's move on to Bobby Warren's friend Jaden and talk about his subject. Now, we don't have any details from Jaden, so we're going to handle the question that way. It irritates me to no end when somebody asks a question and the person that's there ostensibly to respond to the question comes back with a question. I'd rather give some answers. Give some answers first in order to let the questioner know that you have some awareness, some knowledge, and give them you're giving them kind of a multiple choice of how to give more detail, because a lot of people don't understand the detail that might be needed. So we're going to get into that with Jaden's question. Coming up here now, Bobby says he is watching the video now. Zavi is in the Holy Land. There's Jaden Stowe. Hello, Jaden. Welcome aboard. And Nick Poberman, he bought it off of Carrie's link. So that would say that it is the exact same one. Now, does that mean it was manufactured under the same guidelines? Is it possible that that brand has re-instructed the manufacturer to use a cheaper battery because they want to make more profits? Possible. How did your charging cycles occur? There could be a difference in habit. Carrie has very specific routines that he does for charging certain styles of batteries, and he knows battery styles way better than I do. And some of the people in chat do also. So hello to people that I've missed your names. Apologize for missing your names. AirPods 3rd generation is what Jaden has. Now, let's go respond to Jaden's question a little bit. Over here on this tab, I have what AirPods looks like. And I was pretty sure that I have a set of AirPods. I went looking for them, did not find them. But here's another set of ear devices that I have. And just so that people who don't know this, typically the way these charge is you put them inside the charging box. The charging box has its own battery. The devices themselves have batteries contained in them. So you put the battery inside the charging box to charge the device. And so you're counting on the batteries here working, the batteries on the devices being functional, the cable connecting to a charging device, that charging device plugged into an electrical outlet, or, Jaden, are you plugging that into a computer expecting it to charge? Not all USB ports are created equal. Some of them will give you charging power, some will not. On the bottom of this device, and any device, you should be able to read what charging level, what power source it requires. This one says 5 volt, 1 amp. If you have swapped different charging device, what I mean by that is the piece that you plug into a power outlet, it has an output rating. That output rating is going to need to match what you have for your AirPods. It's also quite possible that Apple's design, they'll tell you in instructions, make sure you're using the original or an approved device from Apple. If you just swap out to use some other device, it may or may not work. Now, what is the problem that's happening when you charge it? Is it that they won't hold a charge? Do they charge up just fine, but they won't hold a charge very long? That's not a charging problem. That's a battery life problem, battery holding a charge problem. If it's actually let's see, how is this worded? Going back to the title of the show, it says, "Hey Doug, I'm having problems with my AirPods charging." If we take that literally, that means you plug them into, you put them into the box, the charging box, like this one over here, like probably looks like that, and you're expecting them to charge. Now, is that charging box at the moment connected to a USB cable that's connected to an Apple approved charging adapter, or do you have it plugged into a computer? Did you swap out this for a different one? Are you using a different USB cable? Are they not charging at all? Do you get lights on the device indicating where they're charging? All of these answers can help us to respond to the question. Now let's go over into Google and paste that question. "Hey Doug, I'm having problems with my AirPods." I'm just pasting that exactly as it is. And here we get AirPods or case not charging, how to fix. Why my AirPods not charging? 6 fixes on Apple AirPods Pro case is not charging issues. Why won't my AirPods charge? Now, is the case charging up to full charge? And then you should be able to unplug the USB cable and then charge your AirPods in the case. Is it that the case isn't charging up? Now, he may have responded. You might be responding now, Jaden, in chat. Rather than going to look at that right now, I'm going to give some more responses for the other people who might watch this video and might have a situation different than yours. So in a Google search, have you already done this? Have you already gone through some of these seasons? So you should be telling us what you have already tried, what you have already gone through. And because we have in recent days been looking at ChatGPT on subjects, let's see what ChatGPT has to say about that. I already did do that this morning and paste it in there. "I'm having problems with my AirPods charging." This is how ChatGPT answers. "I'm sorry to hear that you're having problems with your AirPods charging. Here are some troubleshooting steps that you can try. By the way, I haven't checked to see if Ken Stout has a show. Let me know in chat if he does so that I can go create the redirect for it. Check the charging cable and the charging case. Make sure, I haven't read through these yet, by the way. Make sure the charging cable is not damaged and is plugged into a power source. Also check the charging case to make sure it's clean and free from debris and dirt. Clean the charging contacts. Use a soft, dry, clean cloth to clean the charging contacts on the bottom of the AirPods and the inside of the charging case." Now, another thing you might do anytime you have an electrical connection issue is do something like this: WD-40 contact cleaner, electrical contact cleaner. Don't just use a regular WD-40. Get the one for electrical contact cleaner, and that might help it, because maybe it's not you're not getting all the way up to a full charge. I don't know what the issue is. You might want to fully run down the AirPods so they're completely dead, recharge them all the way up and down, recharge them up the way I described, but do that with the case as well. More difficult to do that with the case because the only way you can discharge the case is to charge the AirPods over and over and over until it gets drained all the way down, and then charge it back up, drain it down, charge it up, drain it down, charge it up. 3 times I've done that to bring cell phones back to life, to bring laptops back to life, and some other miscellaneous devices that I don't think of right now. Then what else? Restart your AirPods. Put your AirPods back in the charging case, then remove them. This will restart them and may fix the charging problem. Reset your AirPods. If restarting them doesn't work, try resetting your AirPods. To do this, put your AirPods in the charging case and hold down the button on the back of the case until the LED light flashes amber. check the battery health. You can check the battery health of your AirPods by going to Settings, Bluetooth, next to the AirPods in the list. Select battery. If the battery health is low, you may need to replace your AirPods. If none of these steps work, then go ask on Live Windows Training on a daily... No, it doesn't say that. You may need to contact Apple support and take your AirPods to an authorized service provider for further assistance. So we looked at Google, we looked at ChatGPT. Now, I didn't go through all these different things that you can do on Google, or all of the advice that came up there. Now, ideally, ChatGPT will be giving us a synopsis of everything that it finds through Google searches, but that may or may not work, because we know that ChatGPT sometimes is very helpful, sometimes not so helpful, and it's just like a hammer in a handyman's toolbox. Sometimes the hammer doesn't work for the task at hand. Now, I'm going back to chat, see what we've got. Zenjack, hello Jacob. Hey Doug, long time no talk. My parents are getting married tomorrow. Well, wonderful. And I think that qualifies to make you a moderator, doesn't it? I'm kind of surprised I hadn't already made you a moderator on my channel. We know Zenjack from our Fortnite plays. He plays with us. Bobby says he has a different case. He lost his election of one. He have a different case. He lost his election of one. I'm trying to think what word he might have meant to type instead of election. I don't know. Jaden says, I use a U-green. So I guess it's a U-green case. And Jaden, since we know that you're a friend of Bobby's and you're participating here, I'm going to make you a moderator. Now, the only reason to do that is so that your name shows up in blue. We know that you've been around before and that you're not a troublemaker. Not that I'm asking you to do moderation activities. Nick says, when my AirPods stopped charging after 6 months, I got an RMA from Apple. They sent me new ones. They do not fix them. That would make a lot of sense. I wonder if does that only last a year, or how long is their warranty? Can anybody answer that? Bobby says, yes, he does. That would be in response to something I said earlier. I don't know what he said. You could say, yes, he does have such and such. Yes, he does do such and such, instead of just, yes, he does. I don't know which of my statements you're responding to, because I'm not instantly seeing your chat messages. Zenjack is a smiley there, and good morning, good evening from Robert. Zenjack, let's see, Ken to Zenjack, can you please email me original case? So he's using the original case for charging, but what did he say? He uses U-green. So U-green what? Is that the adapter that plugs into electrical and doesn't have the right power ratings? Does it have the right output and the right, does it match the input that the case requires? Here's Wintermute giving us a link. And see what we got here. How to increase AirPods battery life. If your AirPods battery, now I haven't seen yet, what is the problem that you're having? Is that they won't charge up fully? They won't hold a charge? They won't last long enough? What is the problem that you're having? Will they not charge at all? If your AirPods battery discharges quickly, giving you significantly less use time, here are the tips to improve it. Is that the problem that you're having, though? I don't know that. Wintermute might have seen that already, but at this point I didn't see it. It's a U-green charger brick. So I think by charging brick, he's referring to this adapter. And Bobby says yes. Or just after I asked Bobby to not just say yes, say what is the answer? Yes, what? Yes to which question, Bobby? I don't know. I might be psycho, but not psychic. Does that mean Yes Ken has a show? Because I asked that earlier. Jaden says one charges, one doesn't. Oh, there we go. So one earpiece charges and the other doesn't. So there was the reset advice that was given. Have you already tried those reset instructions that that we saw in that one Google response? Can Dose have a show? He's going to dose us with another show. So great. Thank you for that. I'll go over here and you'll see how I actually do that. I go to Edit Today's Show, Customization, scroll down here, Redirect, click on Search Videos from Other Channels. Here's Ken Stout Daily Debacle. at 9:30 a.m. So the bottom of the hour coming up in a few minutes. So the fix is in. Ken Stout, rest assured. So 10 minutes more to go. Ken says, yes, I do have a show. See there? He didn't just say yes. He said, explained what he's answering yes to. And Jaden has told us one charges, one doesn't. So that one advice that we found about resetting them, have you tried that reset thing? Restart your AirPods, putting them in the charging case, remove them. You've probably done that because that's for restarting. But reset is different. To reset, if restarting them doesn't work, try resetting your AirPods. To do this, put your AirPods in the charging case, hold down the button on the back of the case. I don't have a button on the back of this case because this isn't AirPods. Hold down the button on the back of the case until the LED light flashes amber. So that resets them. See if that helps you. Then also check the battery health. Have you done that yet? So give that a try. You can come back with your responses tomorrow. You can send your responses to me by email and I will announce them in tomorrow's show. Then Greg Guy to me, morning Doug, just got up having first cup of coffee. It's 57 degrees here in southern Maryland. And I had me a coffee this morning. I told you recently that I have started drinking coffee again. And so far it's been every morning. Jaden says, I don't have the official charging case. So maybe there's no reset button. Is there no reset button if you don't have the official case? That could be an issue. Ken Stout says, would a dead CMOS battery cause no display asking for a friend? If your display is not asking for a friend, that just might mean that the display doesn't feel a need to have you as a friend. I don't know that a CMOS battery would be causing that, Ken. It's just that the display doesn't really feel attracted to you to ask you to be, oh, that's not what you meant, is it? Little Ken Stout humor there. Let's see if he gets it. Would a dead CMOS battery cause no display asking for a friend? Well, it possibly depends upon is the display connected by HDMI cable or a, here you go again. You guys know that the words that I know that I don't think of, that other connector, that's the other, display port. Display port? Display, I'm still not saying that right, am I? But what kind of a connection is it? Now, I don't know that a dead CMOS battery will prevent a different style of display from working. But I'm thinking remotely that could be, of course, if a dead CMOS battery prevents the computer from booting. But no, you still should have a display. I have had occasions when I have a display port. Is that the right word? Yes, Rick says it is display port. Yeah, display port, VGA or DVI or HDMI, which one of those it is. I have had occasions where I have a particular style of monitor connected and I won't get any image, and I connect a different style of monitor and I do get an image. And I think it is DisplayPort that I have that problem, and that only might happen with certain graphics adapters. And I think there might be a setting in CMOS to identify which of those is primary. And I might only have had that happen. Oh, I know when I had it happen. I had it happen when I had a HDMI monitor connected to the computer, and I had the computer connected by one of the other connections. I don't know which one, to my capture device. And the boot screen would be coming up on my capture device, and I couldn't see it on the display monitor. I had to switch to view it through XSplit in order to see it. So I'm not sure. So Ken Scout says, good for the humor, win, Doug. Good for the humor, win, good one. Good for the humor, win, good one. Ken's not English as a first language, so sometimes his grammar and sentence structure doesn't come out very sensible. That's another Ken Stout style humor there. Still trying to wake up. DisplayPort, VGA, DVI, HDMI, and it is DisplayPort that Rick was asking, but Ken Stout was the one asking. So is Ken Stout's friend actually Rick Lakes? Oh no, he was saying yes, DisplayPort, just saying that yes, I was saying the word right. I don't think Rick Lakes is Ken Stout's friend. I'm not saying that Rick Lakes is not a friend of Ken Stout. he might consider himself a friend. He might like Ken Stout. I'm not sure, since we're kind of on this friends kick today. So I don't know if Rick Lake is the Ken Stout friend that Ken Stout is asking about. Now, also, when Ken Stout asks for a friend, he might actually be asking for himself, and he just doesn't want to admit that it is his own problem, because Ken Stout never has technical problems, right? It's always a friend of his. He's asking on behalf of a friend. This is Pick on Ken Stout Day. A laptop could not boot due to CMOS issues. There you go. Yeah. So is this a laptop that the friend has? Does Ken Stout even know that? Is this a good enough, close enough friend of Ken Stout's that the friend would even tell him whether it's a laptop or not? Are they that close and open with each other that he would admit to what it is? Jim to Ken Stout, it would depend upon the machine. Some OEM brands won't post with a dead CMOS battery, and you might interpret that as no display. It's not going to post. You're probably not going to see any display. Although, if it's a separate monitor, if it's not a laptop, when you power on the monitor, does it without it connected to the computer? You should be able to get a manufacturer's splash screen to come up of some sort. Does that show up at all? Ken Stout says, C. There. Oh, nope, I'm not caught up with chat. They don't speak English in Indiana. No, they speak Indian in Indiana, of course. And Ken Stout, no, it is not Mr. Lakes. So Mr. Lakes is not a friend of Ken Stout, is what he's saying. Rick is confused. That's a state of confusion, which is very welcome around here. Only Ken to Brian, only basketball. No, they speak Hoosierism. That's going back to the language in Indiana. Indiana is where Ken Stout lives, for those of you who don't know that. That depends if you ask the professor. I have all kinds of issues. The professor, a.k.a. Alex Cheek, knows, because he is a close enough friend of Ken Stout to know that Ken does have technical issues. Now, wait a minute. He didn't say technical issues. Ken has issues, technical or not. Some of his issues are not technical in nature. Wait a minute. Ken Stout has friends? Yeah, surprise, surprise. What will you learn next on this show? Ken Stout to me, no, he is not the friend I am asking for, and no, it is not me either. We'll ask the professor. So you're saying that's the professor's issue? Or is he saying, did he mean we'll ask, like W-E''LL? Remember, English is not a first language for Ken, so he doesn't understand if he's trying to do the contraction of we will ask the professor, and he's an apostrophe. But he's saying, well, ask the professor. I think he's telling me to ask the professor who the friend is. Yeah, I don't know. Chris Stout, if the CMOS is dead, nothing at all will show on the screen. Not always the case. Some computers, if you got a dead CMOS, they'll still power up because they're connected to electrical. Some computers, if the CMOS is dead, you'll get nothing on the screen. But if you have an external monitor, you can get an image on the monitor without even being connected to a computer, because when you power on the monitor, you should get the manufacturer of the monitor's screen to show up. Ken Stout, the professor never has issues. Oh, I didn't think it was... I was implying that it might be the professor having that issue. And he says, ever. Oh, no, the professor never has issues. He meant to say the professor ever has issues, because he's giving a spelling correction here, right? He's telling us that was a typo correction. So instead of never, he meant to say ever. No, the professor ever has issues. Now we're back to the grammar problem, because Ken Stout's not English as a first language. So with that, I think I'm going to go ahead and wind this show down. So now you can go watch Ken Stout's show. I don't know. I didn't pay attention as to whether it's a live show or a premiere, because if it's a premiere, I'm going to go over here and see what Ken Stout has. And this does not look like a premiere. So he's gonna stab back at me. You can count on that for surezies. For sure. All right, so here's my email address. If you want to send a question to me, I'll respond to it in another Windows Daily episode. I hope that was useful. Have a great day. See you later, alligator.